With the end of the fantasy basketball season on the horizon, let's take a look at the final week of adds and drops here. Coming up next on Beat the Odds, don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans. Welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. We're going to take a look at 5 players that you can drop safely from your team here in the final week of the fantasy basketball season, and 5 players you can consider picking up for your final push for the championship in your league. Before we get started, of course, if you like this type of content, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell on it so that way you can receive notifications whenever we happen to post on the channel. We also do have a giveaway for an Anthony Edwards PSA 9 slab as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers. Let's get started. We are going to go to Miami. He's been on our list here for the last 3 weeks or so. Kyle Lowry, 56% owned, 23 minutes per game here last week, 8.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1 block, 50% shooting from the field, 100% from the line. He's been battling injuries. He's got a decreased role, of course, in Miami. At doing the research, I was surprised to see that he hasn't had a 10.5 assist game since January 29th, and that's the only game of that type that he's had all year. So he's certainly not the Kyle Lowry from last season or the season before, so he's not really worth hanging on to, especially if you're in a competitive fight for the championship in your league. Safely drop Kyle Lowry, and there are players that you can pick up in his stead. Up next, we're going to go to OKC. Luguentz Dort, 52% owned, 32 minutes per game last week, 7.8 points, 6 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1 steal, 23% shooting from the field, 100% from the line. There is a reason for OKC to play Shai Gilgeous-Alexander down the stretch, as they're currently in a dogfight for positioning for the playoffs. They got a real shot of making it in this year. So the reason for dropping Dort is his production falls off a cliff when he's playing alongside SGA. And then, of course, his shooting percentages right now are atrocious. Certainly can find better options on the wire than Luguentz Dort. Up next, we're going to Atlanta. Saddiq Bey, 63% owned, 21 minutes per game, 14.3 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 41% shooting from the field, 80% from the line. The amount of shots is nice coming from Saddiq Bey, but it comes attached with poor efficiency, and there's just not enough supporting stats to kind of go around to make him an appealing play this week. Couple that with the fact that he only received 21 minutes per game here last week there as well. I don't feel comfortable having Saddiq rostered here if I'm trying to fight at the end of the season. Going to Lakerland next, we got Jared Vanderbilt, 60% owned, 25 minutes per game last week, 6.6 rebounds, 44% shooting from the field, 80% from the line. His production has waned last week, and of course LeBron was back in action here yesterday, and that's going to result in a diminished role, of course, for Vanderbilt, as the Lakers are also in that playoff positioning hunt there in the Western Conference. Lastly, we have Jusuf Nurkic from Portland, 80% owned, 27 minutes per game last week, 13.3 points, 9.1 rebounds, 2.9 assists, 52% shooting from the field, 66% from the line. Nice numbers from Jusuf, but the issue, of course, with Portland is it looks like they've waved the white flag, and all of their starters have pretty much been benched pretty heavily here over the last couple of games, and we can expect that to continue this week into the end of the season here. So Nurkic is going to be likely on the bench here for the week. Let's go and take a look at some players that you can pick up here. We're going to start in Memphis with Luke Kennard, 27% owned, 24 minutes per game last week, 19 points, 3.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 5.7 three-pointers made last week on 67% shooting from the field, 100% from the line. He's found quite a nice home in Memphis as their sharpshooter off the bench, and he's currently on a hot streak lately for 3. So he's somebody, if you're looking to get stronger in three-pointers, he's certainly somebody to take a look at. Likely he's going to be a little more volatile being on the bench here. It's going to depend on how many minutes he sees off that bench. 24 minutes is okay, but the way that he's shooting there, it's kind of hard to pass up a guy like Luke Kennard. Up next, we're going to go to Charlotte. Dennis Smith Jr., 33% owned, 25 minutes per game last week, 11.7 points, 4 rebounds, 6.3 assists, 1 steal, 46% shooting from the field, 75% from the line. It's nice to see a little bit of better shooting splits here from Dennis Smith Jr. He hasn't really been all that strong over the course of the year, but he is showing some better results over the last week or so. He did have a spot start as well with Rozier out, and of course with Charlotte, it's another tanking team, likely going to be relying on their bench to finish out the season. So Smith is somebody that you may see get more minutes as the season comes to a close, and if he can crest 30 minutes per game, you can probably see numbers kind of similar to what you get out of a Markelle Fultz. So somebody that you can certainly use on a squad here, and definitely better than some of the guys that are currently sitting on a lot of people's teams here in that guard spot. Coming up next, we're going to go to Portland. Shaedon Sharpe, 58% owned, 37 minutes per game, 22.3 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.3 steals, 49% shooting from the field, 77% from the line. Portland, as we mentioned there before, has basically given way for their bench to take the lead here as the season comes to a close, and Shaedon Sharpe is officially unleashed. Certainly a high flyer. His last game he was scoreless actually in the first half, and still ended up with 12 points and 8 rebounds. You'll see a great, I believe you'll see great production out of Shaedon Sharpe here as the season comes to a close. Certainly worth a roster spot. I know he's over 50%. I usually like to concentrate on the guys that are under 50%, but if he's currently in your league, do not waste time. Get him on your team. He's going to be definitely helpful for you down the stretch. Coming up next, going to Washington, we got Deni Avdija, 45% owned, 34 minutes per game last week, 16.8 points, 9.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal, 64% shooting from the field, 50% from the line. Washington's quickly dropping out of the play-in picture here in the East. We may be seeing some more DNPs from Beal and Porzingis as the season comes to a close, which means there's likely going to be more shots available, and Deni is one of the primary beneficiaries of that. So if he's out and available in your league, he's going to be a pretty safe pickup. I don't know if we're going to see the similar numbers as that we did here last week, but I really do think that his floor is like a 15-5-5, which you can definitely use that as on your team here as the season winds down. And then last but not least, we're going to go to Portland one more time. Drew Eubanks, 28% owned, 22 minutes per game, 8.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 59% shooting from the field, 88% from the line. He's the guy you want to pick up for Jusuf Nurkic. If Nurkic is sitting, Eubanks is going to be the guy that fills in that spot. Portland, of course, is in tank mode here, and I imagine Eubanks will have solid peripherals, rebounds, and blocks throughout the rest of the season, and the hope is, of course, he gets a little bit more than 24 minutes per game in playing time here. That will really help out his stats. If he's out there, certainly worth a look. And that's going to do it for this episode and for the season for the weekly ads and drops. I want to thank you guys again for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We will have more of this here next year, of course, in the NBA. And we also have MLB just about to launch here, so you'll be seeing us weekly for those episodes there as well. But that's going to do it for this one here. Thanks you guys again for watching. We are going to sign off for now, but we're going to catch you guys on our next episode.